see some important part that is necessary of the machine learning, why machine learning is required. And this topic is saying to us what is the importance of the machine learning in today's era. Here we have the two important terms, that is, we have the two important points. Those are increase in the data generation and improve the decision making. Rather than focus on the theoretical part, I will tell you this concept by an example, then you will understand in simple way. But you need to listen carefully. See, first point, we have the increase in the data generation. When you are solving any problem, so what is the first thing you just look into your mind? That is what is the problem. After understanding the problem, you will collect the data, and from the collecting of data, you are not collecting only the single data or not normal data. You are collecting the huge amount of data. It's okay. But when you have the limited data, then there is no issue. But when collecting the huge amount of data, so there is an issue. What is the issue over here? When we have the huge amount of data, then the problem we are looking for the solving purpose. There is a guarantee the huge amount of data or the data number of data we have that is sufficient to solve our problem. Okay, that could be. But why you are going through all those parts? Maybe the some chunk of the data or some part of the data is sufficient to solve our problem. Suppose I say thousand student of information I have. From the thousand information students information, if I need to choose only those students who belong to the artificial intelligence stream or specialization, so why I should go through the cybersecurity student and other student as well? So data generation, increase in data generation is saying to us there should be some step that defines by the machine learning when we have the huge amount of data, and that is data which is necessary to solve our problem. So we will choose, or not we will choose means machine will choose, or machine will decide to choose only those data which are relevant to the solving our problem. This is a point where we need to understand the need of the machine learning. So when we have the limited data, so human can do no problem. But when we have the huge amount of data in the machine, and then machine will take a chance, machine will take a responsibility to solve this problem. Data generation can be done into the simplified way by the machine learning approaches, the machine learning technique. So the machine learning is required to saying us we can increase the data generation. So data generation means we are generating something from the data that should be meaningful to the problem solving. But when talking about the improved decision making, so in the improved decision making, what is the improved decision making means after generating data, we are solving some problem. And after solving the problem or before solving the problem, there is some step. What is the decision we have decided to decide the our output? So as we know in the machine learning approaches, we are getting the output in forms of prediction. That's why it is known as the predictive model. Of course, today you will see why it is known as the predictive model. So we are predicting something. It means we have the some capability to make some decision or to take the some decision. So how you can say we are improving the decision making? How we are improving the some step to take that some decision? So that's why the machine learning will help you to take the improve the or to take the good decision as well as to improve the decision making approaches. So just like example, you have or you are dealing with any kind of a problem, but you have seen this problem has been raised by you, or you had just dealing with your such kind of a problem 2 or 3 years back. So what were your experiences? How you have tackled? How you have dealt with your problem? Same thing, same thing. Right now, you can deal with the problem in simple way because you know the idea that how we can solve the problem. So that is known as our experience. So from the past experiences, from the set of the task what you have dealt with into the previous experiences, you can take the good decision. So huge amount of data will help you to find the good solution or good prediction in terms of the better decision making. So here we have the example. It's saying to us into our notes or slide, machine learning is used to forecast selling. And this is saying to us, suppose a product is selling, I'm ready to sell a product in the market, but product is not good for the society, or product is not good for the customers. So why I'm manufacturing such product? So definitely selling of the my product will be down. So based on the selling parameter, my manufacturing of the product will be going down. So same thing. I can say over here the prediction can be justified, prediction can be identified based on this parameter. What was your previous thing? So production of the product is depend on the product selling. So we can determine the forecast or we can predict the selling of the product. But if you are determining the manufacturing of the product, but we need to take care of our mind, what is it sellable product or not? So now in today's era, you can see you are looking for the Nokia 1100 mobile, but that is not sellable. You will not purchase, right? Okay, because it is not a demand of the today's era. So company just stop the manufacture. This is the reason. Same thing we can go through the Maruti 800. Maruti 800 just stopped for the manufacture by the Maruti company. Why? Because it is not good for the in today's era. It does not belong to the BS4 category. It does not belong to the community in the BS6 category, and so on. So it is just followed by the automobile sector. So that's why we have the we have to keep in mind the machine learning approaches will help to improve the decision making, and definitely you can do, we can do. But in today's era or in the coming days, what we are seeing day by day, data is increasing, huge number of data increasing. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you know only the limited website. But in now today era, you know the more and more website which are relevant to provide the content. Now, you can see in the coming days, each and every day, number of the website is increasing today. So same thing, number of the customer of a need telecommunication, number of customer of purchasing the product, so increasing day by day. So according to the various parameter, we have the number of the use data. Time is not stopping. Time is running fast. Time is running. Today we have the 5th of February. Tomorrow we will have the 6th of February. Next year we will also have the same dates. But the 100 years back, if you're looking for some information for something, we have. Same thing after the 2 years, after 200 years, 2 years, 20 years, we had some information. So when the machine will see some information 300 years back, 400 years back, then it will be possible because machine has the data. So after the 500 years back, okay, what would we have? Machine will also have the more and more data. So filter out the data, filtration is necessary part. So for explaining this part, we have the science. The first one is increasing the data generation. You are increasing data, but where data is to be stored into the brain. Of course, data will be stored into the human in form of the brain. In form of some information into the brain. Human can store the information. Human can store the information in his brain, in his or her brain, in form of the or information will travel into the neurons. And based on the that data, a human, a person can think and decide the something. Right. Your parents know about this part. You are not good for the study. Then they know which course is suitable for you because they know they are seeing your attitude about towards the study since childhood. So they know very well you are compatible in this course or not. So they suggest you don't go this course, please go this course because they know. But definitely, as a career-oriented student or or future perspective oriented activity, you will look for the better courses. I agree this point. But your parents know this part. So definitely, because what have been observed by your parents, they know you are not well in the study from first standard to the sixth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and so on, so 12th standard. They have been observed, so they have the huge amount of data about you. You are not well in the study, so that's why they know which course is better for you. So in his mind, in his your parents' mind, they have the information, so they know the thing. So increase the data generation will have, but okay, a human can think about his family, but when talking about the machine is dealing with the not only the single person, machine is dealing with the thousand of crore or maybe the lakh of the people. So data generation is required. So data generation, in the data generation, some filtration is applicable. So when we are talking about the machine learning, machine should learn something from the past experiences, past data, and to take the good decision. So this is the point where we need the machine learning approaches. And now we are coming on the third part, uncover patterns and trends in the data. This uncover pattern and trends in the data is saying to us we are looking for the data which is hidden. Okay, so when we need to look the data, that is a necessary part. So you can understand this part, like over here we have the some example by which you can understand machine can be designed to predict the information, and the information which is hidden, or we can see the some pattern which are uncovered. The cover pattern we can see, but the information which is uncovered, but how you can say where the information can be available? See, in the medical images, the ultrasound images, the X-ray images, the human can't understand, but a doctor can understand easy way. Suppose we are writing a code, we are just designing an algorithm, on which algorithm machine will understand where is the problem. We can easily detect. So definitely, the in today's era, for detect the problem into the human body. So from the medical imaging processes, machine learning approaches will help to identify the problems or diseases from the human body. And nowadays, this is a recent and current and today's era where we are studying. So this is the most recent research topic and industry topic. Most of the people are working on the medical imaging. They are just trying to find some diseases from the images. And now see, this is a good research topic. So here we have this point, and well, we need to solve any complex problem. So definitely we can solve any problem that is dealing with the our tough problem. So you can compute the any mathematical problem within the short way. For the simple problem you can solve it. For the complex problem you can solve it. Suppose I am giving you a very simple exercise, just solve this problem within the 2 minutes. You will take the 2 hours, but you are looking for the good, accurate, or exact result. You can solve it, but you take some more time. So rather than wasting time, it is a better idea to utilize the time properly. And machine learning approaches know this is a function which is applicable or which is used by the machine learning approaches or algorithm. Then machine will solve the problem within the few seconds, within a picosecond, nanosecond. So complex problem can be solved within the few seconds by the machine learning approach. So increase the data generation, improve decision making, uncover pattern on the traits in the data, and solve complex problem. These are the four important needs which defines the machine learning is more important part. Yes. Tell me, having seen this slide or having this image, this is the point where we need to understand what is mean by the need of the machine learning. Yes, tell me. Yes, friend, please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, friend, I need the answer from your side. Do you have any problem to understand all these different 4 points to understand what is the need of the machine learning?
No, sir, not till now, sir. Everything is fine.
Okay, I need the answer from the other student as well, except to the other student. Yes, I need the
Let
answer
me
from
see like some examples, maybe we can understand better.
which example, which point you want to understand example, on which point? Increase the data generation, improve
Like
decision.
like in complex problem solves.
Okay, okay, I agree with this point. In the complex, solve the complex problem. Suppose you need to find those student name who belong to the Gen community. I'm not targeting any student right now, but I'm just simple example. Those student who belong to the Gen community. This is a very tough problem. So you don't know the person who belong to the Gen community people, because by seeing the name, first name, last name, you can't easily determine. But you know there is a keyword that is Gen, JAIN. So by observing or seeing this last name of the student that is JN, you can easily find out this is a Gen community people. That is a problem. 100 people you can easily find out. 1,000 people you will take the 2 hours, no problem. And suppose we have the crore people, or in India 130 crore people, how you can determine? And we have the information. Suppose I'm sharing the information or the Aadhaar card detail I'm sharing with you, and from the Aadhaar card detail you need to find the Gen community people. Then how you can easily find out? Now tell me. You can solve it, but it will take much time. So machine learning approach will use the pattern recognition system. This is known as the pattern recognition system. In the pattern recognition system, what the pattern we are putting or we are feeding, that is a gen, JAIN. This word keyword we will search. We will search means machine will search and machine will provide the result. The student who belong to the or the people who belong to Jain community, they are here, and machine will give the better result in terms of the state wise as well. So we can easily trace out the information from the Aadhaar card database. So solving the complex problem can be done by the machine learning in simple way compared to the human. So machine learning means the machine will learn to solve the complex problem and provide the better result. So machine learning approaches gives us the better accuracy compared to the other problems, other solutions. So machine learning is nowadays in today's era is growing in fastly. Now see, do you know the what will the temperature tomorrow? No, you don't know because you just assume last year 6 January 2020 the temperature was at 24 of the my city. Okay, you can assume tomorrow suddenly Mosam or just we can say the weather is just change. Temperature was 19, but your expectation was wrong. So machine learning will filter the or will give the better result based on the past information. So we are not going to the 2 year, 3 year data learning. We will see the 100 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years back data. So based on the assumptions, we can predict temperature could be around 24, 25. So we can assume this part. Now this is the best example for predict the weather that is known as the forecasting the weather. So when the forecasting weather is the best example to determine by the machine learning what was the temperature. Now on the you can see the temperature, tentative temperature. Tentative means forecasting temperature. The temperature could be like this on this date. The temperature could be like this. You can see this is the prediction. That is the only forecast of the weather. That is not accurate. So the word you can see in your point that is the forecasting, not actual. So we are just forecasting the weather. This is the temperature could be 32 or 24 or maybe the 19, but we are getting the information only the assumptions basis, and this assumption information we are looking for the or machine will looking for the past information, and that is the best example. But in the real time scenario, maybe the in the real time scenario, within information is updating, information updating time to time within the 5 minutes 10 minutes information updating. So suppose in your home city, or you have the temperature 35 degree. So in the 35-degree temperature, you will be happy. Okay, that would be. So after 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you will see temperature is updated now 36. Okay, so that is done by the real-time system. So machine learning is also looking for the some information based on real-time system. So at the time, the real system and our prediction information is connected with each other, and information is updating time to time automatically. So when you ask any information last 200 years ago, your last 200 years data, you will ask for the weather department. You can ask that, definitely you will get it. And the department is one of the geology department. So from the geology department, you will ask the temperature record of the last 100 years. You will get it, and that is to be maintained by the geological department and define the. We have the weather forecasting report. We have this one. So from the this is the past experiences. So you can solve it, no problem, but it is not easy to solve it. But machine learning will provide the better result. See, why we are going through the machine learning, that is, we are looking for the prediction into the accurate way. The word you have to keep in mind, we are looking the result or outcomes in the accurate way. Okay, in the accurate way means, suppose I'm expecting the temperature should be 35, but my result I'm expecting 35. So machine will provide the result 35 for 35.2. So we can say, okay, we are close to the actual outcome. So this is the point, but actual temperature is 35.3. So we are close to the actual output. So this kind of the problem we can solve by the our machine learning. Okay, now tell me any doubt right now.
No, sir.
Okay, now shall I move to the next slide?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So here a very interesting point we have over here, that is machine learning definitions. Here If I'm saying to all my friends, you should learn the machine learning language, but what are the various points we need to understand? Just like example of the learning of the programming language. Suppose I want to learn a programming language, then I must aware about the what is mean by the programming and what is mean by the language. That is programming language. And what are the various factors which is to be used by a programming language? Those are the algorithm. Why I'm using the programming language? Because I need to implement my algorithm on the specific computer languages. And definitely, why algorithm is required? Algorithm is the solution of the my problem, and that is step by step solution. Okay, so when I have the solution in a step by step manner of the problem, then I can solve it. So algorithm is required part. So on a machine learning example, algorithm could be a simple example like regression. So in the regression, what you will do? In the regression, you have the two important factors. Those are the dependent variable or independent variable. Dependent variable is more important part, but independent variable is known as the predicted. Okay, so when you need to predict something from the dependent variable, you can do just like example, the temperature of the 7th February would be the 35. So what is the information on which I can say? Of course, by the past information. So I can expect, I can predict. What is the dependent variable? What is independent variable over here? Dependent variable is past past information in terms of temperature, and expected temperature could be the your independent. So dependent and independent are the two important part of the regression. Just like another example I can take here, I already told you so many times. Your grade is depend on your total number of the marks. Okay, your CGPA is based on the total number of the marks. So, and this is an important point you need to keep in mind. So something is depend on the each other, something is not depend on the each other. So the thing which is depend on the other thing, which is known as a dependent, the thing which is not independent, which is not dependent, so which is known as the independent. Independent variable is known as the dependent variable is known as the predicted variables, and independent variable is known as the non-predictive variable, non-predictive information, and that part we will see into the regression. And if you're looking for the various flavors of regression, that is a linear, logistic, and polynomial. So as per the polynomials, we have to solve our problem by the polynomial equations. We have a linear regression, then we have to solve our problem by the straight line equation, that is y equal to mx plus c. So machine learning approaches mostly followed the concept of the mathematical. So you must have basic mathematics idea by which you can solve it. A second point we have over here, that is model. So after understanding the algorithm, which algorithm I should implement to design my model, that is machine learning model. So at that time, but the thing which is known as the machine learning model. So first you need to understand what is the problem. Then you will decide what the algorithm I should use to solve my problem, and on which algorithm, if I'm designing my solution, that is solution is known as the model. That is known as the ML model or machine learning model. So in the machine learning model, what we need to do, we need to train our model. And why it is required, I will tell you. Don't worry about it, but I will tell you step by step, then you can understand. So machine learning model is saying to us, model should be trained, just like this one. In any institution, if you are any industry, after the completion of course, you are joining any company, and after joining any company, you are followed by the some step. You are following the algorithm to complete your degree. What is the algorithm? First, you need to complete your first semester, then second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. This is the algorithmic step. What is the first step? You must clear the first semester, then second, the third, and then fourth. You can't directly clear the sixth semester, and then you are not clearing the second semester later on. First, you need to clear this first semester, then second, then third. So there is a steps. This is your algorithm. But after joining the company, company will train you. Company will train you. Company will require will do some modification according to the company need. Company just trained you, and that is known as we are company will company will changing your attitude towards the industry requirement or company needs. And that is known as the modeling. that is known as company modeling, and here talking about the machine learning model. In the machine learning model, we are using the algorithm, but we are training our model followed by the algorithm according to the data set. What the information we have on the basis of the data set, training the model, and that model is known as the machine learning model. So with an example, you will understand. Next point, we have the predictor variable. The predictor variable is a variable which defines to or to which describe to what would be the expected output, or we can say this predict the output. Next, we have the response variable. The response variable is basically is output variable, and that is need to be predicted by the using the predictor variable. So by using the predictor variable, we can have the response variable. So depend on the predictable variable, we can have the many response variable, and from the response variable, we choose the appropriate or relevant prediction. So definitely, response variable is mostly response variable is lessly used, but predictive variable is mostly used to predict the information. Next, we have the training data. So what do you mean by the training data or testing data? See, training data is a part of the our data set from where we can choose a random value, the random information from the actual data set, and that could be percentage in form of the 60/40. So if you are saying 60 means we are talking about the training data, and 40% data will go for the testing purpose. And if you're looking for the 70/30, then 70% ratio of 7/30. So that ratio will be followed by the training and testing, or you can choose the 80/20. So depending on the requirement, you can decide your random information from the 70/30 to 80/20 or 60/40. So most of the part which belong to the training data that is required to build our model. Okay, so these are the few terms you have to keep in mind. Rather than the this time, just let me explain this example by a simple concept, then you will happy to know your answer. Just let me add one slide over here. Let me explain one example over here, then you will understand in simple way. See, suppose I have the student data, or we can say just admitted student data. So I'm just mentioning the year and total number of the student who have been admitted into the university. So we can assume over here. So I'm just taking simple example, then you can understand. The year I'm writing over here, and number of the students. So I'm writing NS here. Suppose in 2017, okay, so in 2017 what we have observed, number of students was very less, so I can write the tentative in the 17 in 2017 number of students was the 5,000. Suppose I'm just taking only simple example. 18 we got the 7,000 student have been taken admission here, and in the 19 9,000 students have been taken admission over here. In the 20, approx 10,000 student was taken admission over here. This is a tentative data. Okay, 21. This is a question mark. This is a question mark. So this is the data. So what I mean to say over here, if I just explain this part. So this is known as our actual data, and this is known as the data set. This is known as the data set. Okay. And from this data set, if I need to say, I need to find the training data and testing data to solve my problem. So training data and testing data, these are the two important data which are known as the training data or testing data. I suggest to all students, please, you can choose any value, whatever you want to choose, you can decide. Training data will not be sequence wise 80% you are choosing. The random information will come into the training data and testing data. So training data you can choose for the 80/20. If you wish to use more less training data, then you can go to the 70 or 30. And if you want to go more less, then you can go for the 60 and 40. think that is a better idea if you are choosing the 50-50. So what is the difference between the training and testing data? So avoid such thing. This is the point you need to keep in mind. From the actual data set, we will filter this data would all data would be into the percentage base. Okay. So from these data, from this actual data set, here I'm just taking only the data set, maybe the 4,000 or the 4 lakh or 4 crore. From this data set, I just need to filter out the information 80-20. Suppose I am just choosing the 70-30 for understanding purpose only. So 70% information from this data set will be the training, and or the rest of the part will be the testing. That is the point you need to keep in mind. Now, finally, what is the thing is required over here? So I'm just creating a machine learning model. So how I can make a machine learning model? See, now machine learning model. So I'm just building a machine learning model by using an algorithm. So what is the algorithm? The algorithm is depend on your problem. See, if you need to classify information, then you can go for the logistic regression. You can't use the linear regression because linear regression application is not to classify the information. This is applicable to only the logistic regression. Okay, today I will tell you the some more applications now of the in terms of the algorithm. Then you will see. But just I'm just taking simple example. So here the information, what the kind of the information we have, the information data we have informed with the continuous nature base, not the classification base or not categorical data. Here we have the information from the continuous nature base. Continuous nature. So the now my information, my data, what is the data category I have over here? That is a continuous data. So I need to create a machine learning model. So how I can create? So let me explain. First, what you will decide from the data. From the data, you will create. You will use an algorithm. Now, this algorithm is known as the machine learning model, and this algorithm right now you can use any algorithm depend on your problem. So the algorithm is based on your problem. So it is depend on your problem. Depend on your problem. Now, from this point, you need to design your model. So that is known as the we are building the model. So we are build model. This is known as the ML model. So from this model, if I am using building the model, so how I can build the model? At that time, I need the training data to build this model. So based on the training data, I am building the model followed by the algorithm, which is known as the ML algorithm. Here I need the few things. One is the algo plus algo plus training data. Algo plus training data. So any ML model will be designed by the two important factor. One is the algorithm plus training data, and this training by based on the training data, I built my model. Now, when I just need to put the new query in 2020, so my model is ready. My model is learn the information. Now my model is ready to give the answer or in the form of the prediction basis. So if I'm just putting the new information over here, that is in 2020-21, what would be the expected admission? So it is very simple idea. So what I'm putting, this is what this is the new value. Okay, so you can use a new value if you do not want to use new value. If you want to use the existing value, then you can use any existing value from the testing data. So you can use the any existing value from the testing data to check whether it is working or not. Testing data. So you can use the existing value or you can use a new value to predict the your information. So here the your output will come, and this output is known as the predicted. Predicted. This is known as the prediction. Now the prediction variable or the predict variable will keep the information here. Okay, so this is known as this is done by the predictor output. So testing data, training data, we will decide from the actual data set what we have. And of course, in the coming days or in the coming classes, coming lecture, we will implement training data and testing data with the proper way, followed by the linear regression and logistic regression, of course, as well. So I will tell you how to create the data set, your own defined data set you can define. Definitely, I will tell you. So you have to wait for 2 or 3 lectures. Definitely, you will be happy to know your answer. What I'm speaking over here, that is to be justified. Okay. So from this point, just this is a summary of the machine learning requirement things. What we need to do. Just tell me in this diagram, in this image, any doubt? Please tell me. Yes, student, please tell me. Please be
Sir,
genuine to. Yes, tell me.
No, sir.
one small doubt, sir. I think I missed it or what.
Sir,
Sir, how have any big data set? How will we know whether to divide it 80% and 20% or 70 and 30 or 60 or 40?
Yes,
Like,
this is a good point. This is a good point. So you are asking me. See, we are choosing the training data more compared to testing data. So testing data will be lesser than the training data. So suppose you are choosing the 50-50. You can choose. So what is the difference between the training data and testing data? So we will try to choose the ratio more than the 50-50. So we will choose the 60-40, 70-30, 80-20. It's up to you what you want to use. So in the algorithm, if we choose, if we define the, or we create the our model, so we will define the value. What is the value of the training data, or what is the value of the tracing data? We will define. And now from the 80%, 20 or 20%, the random value will be opted. We will not choose the sequence manner. We will define the random. We will assign the value in form the random. So randomly the value chosen by the training data or testing data, but that would be the part only the data set. The another value or new value will not be inserted. That is point we need to keep in mind. See, 50-50 we can't choose. So how you can differentiate the training or testing data? So I suggest you can go through the any factor like this one. 90 or 10, 90 or 10 you can take. See, 80 instead of the 80-20, you can use the 75-25. But it should be more, it should be 60-40. It should be more than the 60-40 rather than the 50-50. It's up to you. What you want to use, you can choose. It's a user
I,
ad.
I got it, sir. Basically, you mean that training should be more than testing. That's all.
Yes, of
It
course,
can
of
be.
course, of course. So how we can differentiate? If you're choosing the 50-50, then how you can differentiate the training data or testing data?
No, actually, I got that, sir. Like, it should be more. My actual doubt was like we should have it 70-30 or 80-20.
No,
Like,
no,
which
no,
will
no, no. No, no,
you
no.
can.
Suppose no. Don't get confused over here. Suppose I want to choose a training data 660. So now the 27% will be the my 37% will be the my what testing data, and 63
Yes.
will be the my training. Training data should be greater than testing data. So how you can decide? So you should decide your data from the 100%. So the percent we are defining over here, that is a 60-40, 70-30. I'm just taking the standard value in the formula round up. You can choose any non-round up value. You can choose it. It's up to you. Doesn't mean.
Okay,
And,
got it.
okay. Other than these value, just tell me. Other than these value, please tell me.
Uh,
Other than
I,
other than this kind of the questions, please you can ask me. Yes, student, please tell me any doubts so far, or should I move to the next slide?
excuse me, sir.
Yes, please tell me.
Sir, I have doubt in the last slide.
Uh, this one.
Sir, response variable.
See, you can read out from the over here. The predictor variable is a variable which is used to predict the output. So here we have now see in this example, what is the output we are getting that is stored by the predictor variable. But what is the variable which is responding the prediction? So here we have the response variable. So in the prediction, we can take the predict output that is one value, but response variable can be many. See, just like example, this one from the 65 student, I'm asking a simple question to I'm asking a simple question, but I'm getting the response from the many students. But I will choose only the better answer. So that is my prediction. That is my better answer. But I'm getting response from the many way. So the response variable is saying to us prediction could be many. Prediction could be in many. We are getting the prediction very close to the some value like the 35 to 36. So we are getting the prediction like 35.1, 35.2, and so on and so. So the response from the response variable, we will choose the one value and that is not the prediction value. But that is the response variable is not able to see by the user. This is only managed by the machine learning approach, as a machine learning algorithm. So, virtually speaking, when you try to implement all these things, then you will be familiar with the algorithm. You will know how well the model is being rebuilt. You know the prediction, what we are prediction you are getting, what is the training data and testing data, but you will not able to see the response variable because response variable is a medium which can contain the many predictions, but it will give the only the close to the or better accurate prediction value, and that is to be managed by only the prediction variable. So this is just point.
Understood, sir.
Yeah, see, you can understand this point like the predicted by using the predictor variables. So it contains the many predictor variables. So the machine will give the better prediction value, and that very close to the answer. Okay. It is a group. Response variable can be the group of the set of the prediction of predictor variables. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, students. Now tell me, can I move to the next slide after this point?
Yes, sir.
What I've
Yes, sir.
explained, okay, what I've explained over here, that is demonstrated by this images. So when you see this image in the first time, then you will not get anything. After understanding that one, you will now able to understand what is happening over here. Now see, so to the theoretically written over here, but I can explain to the 1 or 2 lines, then you can understand. We have the data, we are training the machine by using the training data, and we are building the model, and we are predicting the sum output. These are the steps which defines the how machine learning approaches will do or how machine learning will work. This is the my point. So no need to explain more detail over here, but if you want, then I can explain. Or should I move to the next slide? Now tell me. Yes, tell me. Should I explain this one or
It's
should I
okay,
move to the
sir.
next?
You can move on.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Can
Thank
move on.
you. Yes. Now, when we're discussing about the machine learning, then what is mean by the machine learning process? What are the various steps by which I can say we are the following the machine learning process? And that is the point we need to keep in mind, and very important point, understanding the fundamental of the machine learning. See, I'm explaining this image only in simple way, then you can understand. So I'm just using my pointer over here for explaining purpose. First, you need to understand what is the problem. After understanding the problem, you will decide the some objective, and on the basis of objective, you will just decide the what would be the my solution. So, what would be the our first step? First step is define the objective. After defining the objective, you will collect the respectively information that is known as the data gathering. So, data collection is second step in which we will collect the data in as our required. So after collecting data, there's no guarantee we have the accurate data or we have the non-accurate data. There's no guarantee. We can have the accurate data, we can have the good data, maybe we have the meaning or meaningless data. So in the data gathering, we can have the meaningful or meaningless data. Meaningful or meaningless data. Okay. So there are some chance we can have meaningful and meaningless data. After getting all these data, few data is not relevant to our problem. Few data is not relevant to the our problem. So what we need to do? Here we need to have another step that is known as the preparing the data. This preparing data is saying to us we will choose only those data which are meaningful. Okay, so we will choose only those data which are meaningful. So from the gathered data, we will choose only the or we will select only the those data which are the meaningful, and that is to be done by the preparing data. So preparing data is a step which defines to us when we need to choose the data that should be appropriate way. So we are choosing the appropriate or meaningful data. So that is done by the data preparing data. Now next step, that is the fourth step, that is known as the data exploration, and it is also known as the EDA. Now EDA stands for the exploratory data analysis. So whenever you need to explore data analysis, then you need to go through this step. But now, what is the sense of this step? This step is saying us from the meaningful data we can have. There's some chance we can have though we can have the some data which are incomplete way. Data is meaningful, but data is incomplete. Data is meaningful, but data is incomplete. But how we design that is data is incomplete? See, some values are missing. So incomplete data can be identified in the machine learning by the machine missing values, missing value. So we will remove those information which are having the missing values, because by which we can say this is an incomplete data. So we will discard those rows or those records. So data will be removed from the our prepared data set or prepared database, which are the meaningful, but we are having right now few information that is incomplete. So this is just like example, that is I just need to collect the information from the entire VIT university. So I collected few data are meaningless. Some student are entered something, okay, no problem, few data are meaningless. It is just like example of the survey. I have done some survey, a few people have filled the information, okay, temporary information, no information, just like which are not relevant to, okay. So first I need to filter the information that is a meaningful, meaningless. After the I will opt my all the information from the meaningful part. So in the meaningful part, I have observed someone has written the 9-digit mobile number that is not possible in India. Then how it is possible? Okay, so this is incomplete data. Now someone has forgotten to return his or her name. So this is incomplete data, and this is not the missing value. So in the data exploration part, what I will do or what a machine will do, machine will discard only those rows or those record or those information which are holding by the incomplete or missing value. After that, now we have the after that we will have the our data set which are not having any missing value, not incomplete or not a meaningless. On base of the data set, we will use or we will design our building model followed by the training data, followed by the training data. And this training data can be defined by the user, or you can use any algorithm by which we can choose the training data, and training data should be from the random base. So after applying the training data, now we build the model. And after building the model, now model is ready to evaluate the some value, and that is we are trying to predict some information. So model is ready to predict something. So now here we have the step that is known as the model evaluation. The model will be evaluated by the some new values, some new value. Just like I need to predict the how many students will be admitted into 2020. I'm not looking for the 21. Okay, I'm looking for the 2020. So based on the previous information, I can assume or I can predict some information, and that is known as the new value. And so model is ready to evaluate something, and that is my prediction. When you're getting something in from the prediction, and that is to be handled by or that is to be managed by the predictor variable. Okay, so I'm writing here that is predictor variable. So the information will be stored into the predictor variable. In between, machine will get the lots of the prediction, so that is to be managed by the response variable. But machine will give only the one output, and that is known as the prediction variable. That is known as the prediction, and that is to be handled by or managed by the one variable, which is the prediction variable or predictor variable. So this is the machine learning process. How machine learning process is required to understand the what is happening into the machine learning system. Yes. Yes, student. Now tell me any doubt in this understanding all these 4, 5, 6, and 7 steps, and this can also be known as the 7 steps to learn to understand the machine learning process. Yes, tell me any doubt here? Understanding any doubt into any point?
No, sir, not yet.
Yes, it is. I think it is very easy part over here. But if you
Yes,
have any
sir.
doubt, you can ask me. Okay. Yes, tell me. No, no doubt over here.
No, sir.
No doubt, sir.
Okay. Can I move to the next slide?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, good. Can I move to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So, how does machine learning work? This is a big question we should have in our mind. So, how does machine learning work? Now, see, this is the image. What I've explained into the this diagram, the machine learning definition part in this diagram, and machine learning process. Now, this is a step which is showing to us how machine learning will work. See, we are applying some algorithm with the help of the training data, and we are training the machine learning algorithm, and we are getting something to the our model, a new input, and machine learning algorithm will functionize, and we are getting the prediction. If we are predicting something close to the answer, so it's okay. But we are not close to the answer, then machine will be trained with the another data that we have the this point. So this cycle will go on to get the prediction in better way. So very close to the answer we can do. So this could be in form of the cycle way. But training data we need to choose from the actual data set. So we need to focus on our training data. Testing data will be used only to test what the input, what the model we have trained that is providing the better result or in the prediction in the good term. See, prediction there's no guarantee. Prediction could be 100%. Prediction could be 90%, 95%, maybe 60%. So depend on the how your model is trained. It is a simple example like after joining an industry, if you are well trained, then you will give the better response to the company. But you are not well trained, then what will you do? You will not give the better response to your company. So depend upon your training. So how you have trained, what is the parameter which is done by for your training purpose, so it's up to you. So if you are not getting the good prediction or not accurate in terms of the accuracy, we will train our model again. That's my point. Okay. Yes, tell me. This is summary. This is summary of what we have discussed today. Yes, tell me any doubt in this point.
No doubt, sir.
Yes, I need the answer from the other student as well
No
because
doubt, sir.
this is summary so far we
No
have seen.
doubt, sir.
Okay. Okay,
No doubt,
good.
sir.
Okay. So into the examination, if I give a query or I give a question like this one, how does machine learning work? Please explain this all these points step by step in proper way. You can take any example like this one. You can take an example like this one, and you can take any real example like a student problem, okay, student data set, any information like employee, whatever you want to do, you can explain. Okay, so it's up to you. So now I'm just moving to the next topic, which is very interesting, a hot topic in today's era. What are the various flavor of the machine learning, and that is known as the machine learning types. So a machine can solve any problem by learning approach. So learning is what? Learning itself is a sense, thinking, smelling, and touch, and vision, view, hear. These are the various kinds of the sense in the human body. So learning itself is a sense which is used by our human brain. And if you are doing a model which is a machine learning approach based, so what we are doing, we are focusing on one sense. So machine itself can have some thinking power. So definitely, if machine learning we are understanding, if we are machine learning studying, then we are following the thinking sense. So think something is about itself is sense. Understand. So of course, machine will also able to think from your data set, or machine will think something from your trained model. So what we are doing, we are following the one sense. This is the point you need to keep in mind. Okay, now come to back this point. Now, machine learning types, I'm talking about the machine learning types. So machine learning means we have the various flavor. These are three different flavors. One is a supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and a reinforcement learning. Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning also having their own sense. But reinforcement learning is also sometimes known as a semi-supervised learning. Why? Because this is a learning which can compromise with the both kind of the learning attitude. So rather than understanding more detailed way, let me focus on this important part. Then you can understand this way. Machine learning. Machine learning is divided into three different parts, as I told you: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. Before starting the supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning, just let me give you some idea or some information about this point. Then you can understand in very well manner. You can see or you can note down over here, and from this point you need to understand what is mean by the difference between the continuous and categorical data. Okay, so I'm just writing some information over here, then you can understand. See, supervised learning. In the supervised learning, what we will see, let me explain what we will see first. We will see the regression. In the regression we will use a linear regression and polynomial regression and also logistic regression. But now question should you should ask me, sir, why you have written the logic regression into different category? I will tell you. In the logical regression, we can solve any problem followed by the two important variable dependent independent variable. That is to be done by the linear and polynomial. So when you are using the line-based equation, that is y equal to mx plus c, then we are following the linear regression. But when you are following any equation which is integrated by the polynomial way or a polynomial nature base, then we have the polynomial regression. Suppose we have the multi polynomial, so we can say multi polynomial regression. So there could be many flavor, and there all these part we will implement into the our class. No problem about that one. Next we have the decision tree. Next we have the random forest. You can note down that this green dotted line which describe that in the supervised learning what we are using the continuous nature based data. Continuous nature based data. Okay, the question comes in our mind, what do you mean by the continuous nature based data? Yes, like this one, year and number of students admitted. Okay, so this information is known as the continuous nature based data, because information is stored into the continuous way, year wise we are storing. But in this line you can say that is a blue dotted line which describe that some different algorithm, those are the KNN. KNN stands for the K nearest neighbor. Tree, we have the logic segregation, we have the naive Bayes algorithm, and SVM. SVM stands for the support vector machine. That is a part of the our second unit in which is written there, support vector machine. So I will tell you support vector machine into graphical way. Then you will happy to know your answer in simple. So all these algorithms are used to classify your information. And here for classification, we need the category data. Why? How you can say what do you mean by the category data? Yes, just like this one. I have the student data into two different category. One is a male category and other one is a female category. So based on the gender basis, I'm categorize the data like this one. See, I'm using the roll number. I'm putting the roll number one. Is he or she is a male or female? So I need to put the yes or no. Okay, he is male. So I can put the no over here. Instead of the yes or no, you can use yes or no. You can use the true false. You can use a 0 or 1, what you want to use. So value representation doesn't mean, but how you can differentiate your information, that is more important. That is, you are classifying the information, the roll number first is not a male or not a female or not a male. So what you want to use, you can use. Just like example, I can just make a complete data set like this one. It's a male. Roll number 3 is not a male, it's a female. So this is the point where you can say I am filtering the information in form of the classification base. So I'm filtered out the information based on classification. So I can use this data set for my classification purpose. And here we have some algorithm. Those are the KNN, freeze, logic segregation, and naive Bayes and SVM. I will implement all these algorithms for your betterment. Don't worry about that part. It's my promise. But question comes in my mind, what is supervised learning? Supervised learning means the information which is guiding something. So just like in example, I can tell you, a teacher can guide you, which is what is better or what is not better. So what thing you are looking for, it is better for you or not. So if the information is guiding us something for the machine, or the data which is guiding to the machine, that is we are following the supervised learning. And I will tell you more detail with some example, then you will be happy to know answer. If we have the unguided information, from the unguided information we are trying to implement machine learning, or we are trying to build a machine learning model, then we have the unsupervised learning, because it is not supervised. In this case we have the cluster. In the cluster we have the support vector distance part, so I will tell you in more detail base. PCA, principal component analysis, K means. So for clustering you need the continuous nature database. But association analysis, where we have the a priori algorithm, and FP growth, that is a future point growth algorithm, and hidden Markov algorithm. So these two concepts we will see through the categorical data. So this image will show you what are the various flavors of the machine learning model, and what are the various algorithm we will see into the machine learning model. So all these algorithms are predefined existing model. We will use these model to build our model. We will use these algorithms to build our machine learning model, and we will test we are getting the exact result or not, or we are getting the our good prediction. That is to be done by over here. And reinforcement learning, if we're talking about the reinforcement learning is mostly used by the game. How you can say? I will tell you. See, in the game there are two options: either you can win or you can lose. There are two options: you can win or you can lose. So these are the two. There are some policies actually, or some rules by which you can either win or lose. Any other options available? No. Only you can win the game or you can lose the game. There are two options. So there are some rules on which you are following the some circumstances to get or to achieve your agenda that could have been or lost. So in the reinforcement learning, some policies are there. On the policy based matter, we will do something, and that is to be done by the learning approach. So in the machine learning, if you try to something by the some policy based or rule based, and that is especially for the game purpose, just like the driving car. Okay, in the self driving car is the best example. What we are doing in a self driving car, if some object is coming in form of the image or video, then car will stop automatically. So there are two options: car will stop or car will start, and that is to be real example of the reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning we will learn in our one module we have, and we will see this model with some examples and with some videos. Then you will be happy to know more detail about the reinforcement learning. And the gaming student can go through the reinforcement learning for their projects for will be, so it will be a better example or a real implementation for the machine learning for the gaming students as well. But for the computer science student, core student, or especially AI student, please focus on these two different kinds of supervised learning, these two learning, supervised and supervised learning. Because these are the most important point where you need to learn a lot. You need to define your own model followed by some existing algorithm. Of course, depend upon your problem. You can create your data set, and then you can go through the anywhere. And this is my point where you can learn from the machine learning. So I have the so many notes over here where you can see. So this is unsupervised learning. See, this is example. This is unsupervised learning. Again, we have the example. Okay. So reinforcement learning, as I told you, self-driving car, AlphaGo. AlphaGo is the name of the project which is used by the supervised learning. Oh, sorry, reinforcement learning. Okay, so this is my point where we need to move to the lots of the thing. So if we're talking about the other thing, like what are the various other flavors of the machine learning? So most of the case,